Hey everybody! So I am going to try, somebody told me to turn off my autofocus on my camera, and it works when I film from my actual camera, but I don't think it's going to work when I am live. So we'll see. I tried, nope, it's not working. So I do apologize for the bounciness. I'm going to have to try to fix this some other way because I did turn off my autofocus on my camera and it apparently did not work. So I will try something else for next time, but for now we're going to go ahead and get started, and I will try my best to just keep things. We're going to be doing some easy ink blending. I'm going to be using some pattern paper. So here's the card that we're making today. It's a Slimline pocket-sized card. I just used some of the Rainbow Brights papers on the background here. Cute little sentiment, and then when you open it up, there's a fun surprise on the inside. Oftentimes I get asked how I finish off the insides of my cards, and the honest answer is I don't. I don't ever put anything on the inside of my card. It's just white. That way I can always put the message that I want, no matter how big or small. I can stamp a message or write a message on the inside of my card. But today I thought we'd just do this cute little card with something fun and happy on the inside. So the only two products that I'm using today from Trinity Stamps are the Oh Snap stamp set. This is a large 4x8 stamp set with this adorable little alligator. And then I'm also going to be using the Trinity Stamps Slimline Rainbow Brights paper pack. Super cute, lots of fun, pretty patterns in here. I used this on my video last week. I'm totally in love with this paper pack. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I've done some prep work ahead of time because I know my embossing gun is loud and I didn't want you to have to sit here and listen to me heat embossing. So I used some Ink on 3 watermark embossing ink that you can find in the Trinity Stamp shop, and I stamped that alligator and a couple of these little birdies, and you can see that there. Then I did emboss this with I used Arctic White heat embossing powder on my sample card, but I actually had some clear embossing powder on my desk, so that's what I used for this. You can use clear or white since I stamped on white cardstock. So let's go ahead and just do some ink blending and add some quick and easy coloring. You can color this little alligator with watercolors, with Copic markers, however you want to color. But today I just thought we'd do easy and quick. So I have a Trinity Stamps blending buddy. Mine is one of the old style ones. I have the new ones on order, and hopefully they'll be here soon, and so I can show those off. But this is the same style. It just has a brown bristle instead of a white one. So let's go ahead and do some ink blending. I'm going to cut off my little chicks here. I'm going to do my chicks in yellow and my alligator in greens. So I'll use some Distress Oxide ink. This one is Mustard Seed. And I'm just going to ink up just the kind of bottom tip and blend right over the bottoms of these cute little chicks. Don't worry if it looks like it's covering up your embossing powder. This is a pigment style ink, so it's going to sit on top of whatever medium you're working on, so your cardstock in this case. I'm going to grab a cloth here and just wipe that ink away. And then I'm going to go in with a lighter yellow ink, this one's Squeezed Lemonade, and blend the top. So these chicks are going to be yellow, but there's going to have just a little bit of shadow. Same thing as if you were coloring, you know how you would add some shadows, except I'm just doing it with ink. So quick and easy, our little chickies are done. Then I'm just gonna wipe that ink away, and you're gonna see that embossing start to come through again. So now I have that shiny little outline and those cute, adorable little chicks. For the alligator, I'm gonna do a couple colors of green. Let's start here with a dark green. This is Rustic Wilderness. And I'm kind of going to follow the little dot pattern on his back. I know this is going to look splotchy. Don't worry, we'll blend it all together. I'll add some on his feet and maybe the bottom of his belly here. And then right here on those dots on his nose. Then we'll go to a lighter color. Let's see, let's go peeled paint. And I'm just going to blend just a little bit, blend some of that dark color out. I like to use the oxides for heat emboss ink blending or emboss resist ink blending because they blend together really easily with zero effort, really. And I'm somebody who has a heavy hand when I ink blend, so I often get splotches, so that's why I like to do these pigment style inks. Then I'm going to come in with a lighter color, a brighter and lighter color. This is Twisted Citron, and just kind of finish off the alligator here. And all these pretty green colors are going to blend together, and we'll have a completed and colored alligator in no time at all. There we go. And all I did was just wipe my blending brush on my cloth after each color. I'll put those inks away, and then I'm going to grab my clean cloth and just kind of give it some elbow grease. Buff that ink off, because like I said, these are pigment inks. They're going to want to sit on top of your medium, so your paper and your embossing powder, or your heat embossing is going to grab that ink. So give it some elbow grease and wipe that away. There we go. Cute and easy, and that took literally just minutes to color. I'm going to use the coordinating Oh Snap die set. So we need to cut out this little alligator and his little chicky friends. And so I will just add these right on top. Now this ink is still wet on the paper, so I'm going to use a tape that's a little bit stronger than a traditional masking tape so that it'll stick and hold really well. And I'll just be careful not to get the tape onto my actual image. I do apologize if my head is in the way. When you're lining up dies, I just like to get right over the top. And then I'm going to just place that die in place. Same thing with the second little chickie. And then the alligator. And then I'll run these through my die cutting machine and we'll have images ready to go. I'm a slow colorer. So ink blending is something that I like to do because it's quick and easy for me. Watercoloring is something else that's quick and easy for me. Copic coloring, not easy or quick for me at all. I'm going to just run this through my die cutting machine using whatever sandwich is recommended for your machine for dies. And we'll cut this guy out. Here we go. He pops right out. Look at that. Super cute. I have a little mark on his eye. There we go. Adorable, right? And I love how there's all those different little shades of greens in there. I'll do the same thing for these chicks, and then I stamped 4 of the chicks, so 2 of each. So I'll have to line these dies up again and run them through. But that doesn't take much time. There's one little chickie, so cute, and 2. And then I'll just move these dies down and cut them out one more time. And then we'll move on to our background, which is bright and full of color, but also very easy. And I'm gonna do it's gonna be slimline pocket sized. For those of you who didn't see it in the beginning, I'll show it again in just a minute here, so you know where we're going with the card. All right, we have all 4 chickies. I only need 3, but while I was stamping, I figured you can always use an extra chick. So here's the card that we're doing, slimline pocket sized. Let's do this fun background. I used the Rainbow Brights paper pack, and you can see that there's all these different patterns in here. I couldn't pick a favorite. I love rainbow, so I decided let's go with all of the patterns. So I cut 1/4-inch strips out of each of those stripe patterns, and on the back are dots, so you could definitely go dots with this, but I decided to go with the rainbow stripes. I have just a piece of white cardstock here. There's a couple ways that you can do this, and I'll talk you through a couple different ways as I'm doing this, because I got a big glob there. I'm going to transfer these onto a piece of white cardstock because I want to mount them with foam on my card. So you can cut strips of foam behind each of these little pattern paper pieces and do that individually, but I find it's a whole lot easier to work with them as one large group of pattern paper pieces. So I'm just going to glue these onto this paper here. And this is just, I think it's like 65-pound cardstock, nothing too fancy. You definitely don't need to use your best, like your Nina cardstock here, because it's just a carrier piece. You're not even going to see it. You can cover this, oh my goodness, I pushed too hard. See how we were just talking about how I ink blend too hard? I have a bad habit of pushing too hard on everything. Let's wipe away that excess glue and go again. Anyway, you can cover this with double-sided adhesive and go that route, but I like the liquid adhesive because that gives me time to kind of make sure that I am butting all of these stripes up together, and I want to line up these stripes so it looks like one continuous pattern of paper rather than, I think I have 8 colors that I've cut down. So the liquid adhesive gives me literally some wiggle room. I'm gonna go with just a thin line of adhesive for each of these colors. And I stuck them down to tape as I was cutting them so that I would remember which order they went in. It takes all the guesswork out. But I'm just lining up these stripes so that they are all going in one direction, and then I'll trim this piece down as a complete piece. That's the good thing about having this white kind of, I'll call it a carrier piece of cardstock, is that you can trim just once rather than having to trim a bunch of times and try to line them up. Here we go. Almost halfway done. This is the most tedious part of this simple card. I like to do simple cards. I have a 5-year-old, so even though I work from home, I don't get a ton of time to craft on my own. Oftentimes he's crafting alongside of me. So by creating simple cards, he can craft with me and often replicate the designs. So this is something we've been working on. He's going to kindergarten, and so we've been kind of working on, you know, cutting on the dashed lines, cutting circles, rectangles, triangles, and then putting them in place where they're supposed to go. So I feel like this is like arts and crafts. We're almost done here. Again, just lining up these patterns, which is something, it's an extra step that I like to do that you definitely don't have to, but I think it makes a more cohesive project. Hi to everybody who's coming in and saying hello. Thank you for sharing this video. That's awfully nice of you. We have 3 more, and then we'll be done, and then we'll trim. And then all that's left to do is just really assemble the card. Like I said, this one's a quick and easy one. And it uses up your pattern paper. If you guys are like me, you probably have a lot of pattern paper that you don't use because it's too pretty to use. And that's how I am with everything. I have perfume that is for special occasions only because I don't want to use it. Pattern paper, that's for special cards only because it's prettier to look at. So I've kind of tried to make it a, it's a goal of mine to use it because that's what it's there for, is to use. So I'm trying to use my pretty things. It's hard to do, but I'm trying. That's the last piece there. And we're done. I'm just gonna grab any glue that may have gotten on my work surface. And now I'm just gonna trim this down. So, I'm trying to decide, I'll grab my little one. I have a big paper trimmer and I have a little one, but the big one is off camera and I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is just cutting this down. We'll cut it down to 5.5 inches. That's how long my Slimline card is this time. There's lots of sizes you can do for the mini Slimlines. 3x6 seems to be a pretty popular one, but for this design, I thought it looked better with the Alligator if I did a 3 by 5.5. When I tried it with a 3 by 6, there was kind of just a little bit too much space. So this was the size I decided to go with. So here's just my little pattern paper piece, and it's kind of a custom paper piece created from a whole bunch of patterns. I'm going to trim off that little bit of white that I missed there. Here is my Slimline, mini Slimline card base, already cut down to 3 by 5.5 inches. Now I do want to pop this up, and so I have a whole box of fun foam. And I found that that's a great way if you're popping up a whole panel, because it's very, there's like no bubbles or anything. Sometimes foam tape, if I'm doing a big piece, kind of bubbles on me. So I'm going to add some fun foam back here and pop this up onto my card. I'm usually a very neat and organized, tidy crafter. Take one thing out, put it away, get the next thing out, put it away. But I think I mentioned last time when I do lives, there's a whole pile off to the left side of my screen of stuff. And so when I'm done, I have to go through and clean it up. I won't ever show you the stuff pile from when I do lives. Add some liquid adhesive there, and now I'm going to just make sure I have my rainbow going the right way. And I'm going to center this onto my Slimline, my mini Slimline card base. And I'm just going to go brave and eyeball it. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, now don't panic. We've got to cut our alligator in half. It sounds cruel and unusual, but I promise you he won't feel a thing, and he's going to look awfully cute when we're done. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and cut him pretty much right in half. Go maybe like right there. One quick snip and there we go. 2 halves of an alligator. One half is going to go on the front and the other half is going to go right in the inside. So I'll use my liquid adhesive here. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to pop him actually. I'll grab some foam squares and we'll pop him up, because you can never go wrong with adding some foam squares to your project. I always say when I do lives, I won't add as many foam squares as I usually do, because I have this habit of using way too many. I'm always afraid that my card is going to collapse in the mail, so I cover things with foam squares. But I won't make you sit through that today. Let's add him right onto here. I'm going to line up my cut mark with the right side of my card and press that right there. And then I want to have these cute little chicks kind of sitting right up on the top here, like they're chatting almost. I think I can cut that foam square in half. Poor alligator. I promise he didn't feel it. And he'll be cuter this way. I'll add those little chicks. And then I stamped a sentiment from that Oh Snap sentiment, stamp set. I stamped I Got Your Back, because here's his back here. I thought that would just be so cute. So I have my sentiment strip here, and I thought I would show you because I like to create a banner. And I think even though many of us would know how to do a banner, I'll show you how I do mine. I'm sure it's the same. But what I do is I cut my width to where I want it to be. Then I'm going to take my scissors and snip right up the middle, and then go from one edge to that center point. And then I turn it over and go again from that edge to the center point. And that way I have an even little sentiment banner there. I'll pop that up as well because must have the foam tape. And then the front of the card will be complete. It's really a simple design, but it's so cute and I love it. It would be easy to make a bunch of these. I'm going to again pop this right up against that side, and then I'll just eyeball it and make sure that it's pretty straight. I want to move that up a little bit, I think. There we go. Okay, so the front of the card is done. Now we have this other half of this cute little alligator, and I'm going to put him right on the inside. So I'll grab my liquid adhesive again and just add some. And then place him right in the center here. You could use foam tape on him if you wanted to, but being on the inside of the card, it probably wouldn't close properly. I'm gonna trim off just a little bit because I wiggled him a little bit there. And then I'm gonna put one more chick so it looks like he and the chick are kind of talking. This is it. One little chick right on his little snout there. I think that's what the alligator's nosy is called, is a snout. There we go. That's it. You guys, that was so quick and easy. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I know I can't get enough of this. And like I said, I never put anything on the inside of my cards just because I like to keep them blank. That way, I got your back could be a sentiment for, you know, anything, an encouragement card if somebody's going through a hard time. It could just be like a hello friend type of thing. And then when you open it up, there's this cute, adorable little alligator on the front. And I think these little chicks just make this card that much cuter. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask now as we're finishing up. I really want to thank you guys for being here with me today. I always get excited when I see your comments and when I see your names pop up. Thank you to every person who joined me today. I hope that you liked this easy tutorial and that you'll look at your pattern paper and use it. Use your pattern paper, even if you want to cut a whole bunch of strips down and create a new pattern. So thank you, you guys. I will be back. Let me check. I think I am back in 2 weeks here, right at the same time on the Trinity Stamps Facebook page. So the 29th of July, I'll be back here with another card. Same time, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you then. Bye, you guys.